Dearly beloved, we have gathered here today to get through this thing called Mix CD. My name is Mike, part of the SPDM crew, and I love making Mix CDs. Each week, we give our guests a theme and an 80-minute time limit for which songs they're going to pick for their Mix CD. This week, I'm talking about songs that are turning 40. And the reason why I'm doing that is because today, as I record this on November 29th, I myself turn 40 years old. I'm still not sure what to make of it. In reality, nothing is different. I'm just the same person, except instead of saying that I'm in my 30s, I now have to say that I'm in my 40s. But that still doesn't change the fact that it still makes me a little sad. But let's go over some songs that are turning 40 years old this year. And we'll start with You're the Inspiration by Chicago. This was in one of the Karate Kid movies. So this is pretty high up there in terms of, sentimental value. And this was also in Deadpool as well. So it's got me there. I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner. When I was in college, Foreigner came to play at my college, so that was a lot of fun, and everybody loved it when they belted out this song. Easy Lover by Phil Collins and Philip Bailey. This one, I was a little late coming to this song, mainly because Easy Lover was a song that was featured in an episode of Ted Lasso. Well, two episodes. One episode for Ted to say, hey, if you can't get dressed to in the time it takes for Easy Lover to come on from start to finish, then there's something wrong. So, and then there's an episode where he's actually changing and he's listening to Easy Lover. Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore by REO Speedwagon. That's just a classic. Material Girl by Madonna. This was the first Madonna song I ever heard because this was, I believe the album was called Material Girl, and this was a song that was played pretty regularly in my house. Relax from Frankie Goes to Hollywood. First time I ever heard this and kind of just understood the messaging was when I watched it in Zoolander. So that's fun. We Are the World by USA for Africa. Glad to see that hunger in Africa is no longer a thing thanks to a bunch of US pop stars. Rhythm of the Night by DeBarge. This was a song that I did not really know about too much until it showed up on the Moulin Rouge soundtrack. Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds. That one is just a classic, especially if you're a fan of The Breakfast Club. Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. That was just a song that anytime that it was on the radio, I would stop and listen to it. This actually showed up in or not this exact version, but a version of this showed up in the movie Sky High, which I think is kind of funny. Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves. If you've ever gone to a sporting event, this is one that comes up pretty frequently. And then there was a pretty awesome mashup with the song Halo on the show Glee. So that's fun. Heaven by Bryan Adams. I know the DJ Sammy version a lot better. I didn't realize that this is the song that I was based on, and this is hilarious to me. Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News, perhaps coming from the best movie of 1985, which is Back to the Future. St. Elmo's Fire by John Parr, a theme song that is maybe a little too on the nose, but it's still really good nonetheless. Take on Me by Aha, probably one of the best music videos of all time. Party All the Time by Eddie Murphy, proving once and for all that Eddie Murphy really does know how to sing, but he should probably just stick to acting. Saving All My Love for You, Whitney Houston. This was the start of just an iconic era in music when Whitney Houston came on the scene, and then Raspberry Beret by Prince, because it's the 80s, and if we're not going to have Michael Jackson, then we got to have Prince. So all of these songs are turning 40 this year. What's your favorite song from 1985? Let me know in the comments below. Well, my friends, the time has come to end this episode of Mix CD. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to anything and everything SPDM Crew wherever you get your podcast. Join us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, YouTube, and Blue Sky at SPDM Crew. Check out our website soon to be out at spdmcrew.com. You could follow our playlist on Spotify and Apple Music at Mike Hilty. Shout out to High Flyer Creative Studios for making our awesome logo. Greatly appreciate their support. And if you have any marketing, logo, or brand standard needs, contact them at highflyercreative.com. If you've got a podcast idea or you're interested in being part of the SPDM crew as a guest or collaborating, email us at spdmcrew@gmail.com. Until next time, no matter what happens now, you shouldn't be afraid because I know today has been the most perfect day I've ever seen.